Ladies and gentlemen, today is the 1st of April, and that means that 3 months, that is a quarter of a year, is over. So it's time to draw a line and name the best albums of this first quarter of the year, 2023. Of course, the list I'm going to give you is not exhaustive, because I couldn't hear all of the albums that came out this year, and even not all of the outstanding albums, but I tried to sort through what I've heard, and here I name the ones that I find the best. First of all, a couple of shoutouts, not in the sense that they are not the best albums, but in the sense that I'm not a big expert in those genres, namely stoner rock, and I'm going to name Apodemus with their album Atlas. This is a very cool, groovy, instrumental stoner rock album, and I'm going to name it as one of the best, although I have no clue what happens in the genre overall, so this is my shoutout. Then I'm going to name Host with the album 9, which is the synth rock project of Nick Holmes and Greg McIntosh from Paradise Lost. I'm no expert in this genre either, but I love Paradise Lost and I love this album. It's a great one. Now let's go on to some real metal, and I mean black metal first of all. I'm going to name 3 bands that have attracted my attention in this year so far. First of all, it's Tulus with their album Fandens Kall. It's a great, short, but tricky black metal album. Then Lamp of Murmuur, which is a great homage to classic Immortal, with very nice melodies and amazing riffs. And thirdly, I'm going to name the project Tryglav with the album The Ritual. It's a very nice, fast, melodic black metal. Now let's go on to the genre that I'm most familiar with, and I'm going to start with Avatguard and Prog death metal. In no particular order, I'm going to highlight Mithridatum with their Harrowing, which is an extreme dissonant quest of the listen. Then close to it follows Ignominy with their Imminent Collapse, which is a bit more listener-friendly but still very tricky. Then I'm going to name the Polish band Concatenation, which is not so much dissonant-oriented and includes some thrashy elements, but most impressive was the sax solo at the end. Next one will be Entheos with their very cool-sounding modern prog deathcore. Since we're speaking about prog death, I have to name the German project Metasphæra with self-titled album. The musicianship and melodies there are astounding. You absolutely have to check it out. And to close the avant-garde prog death category and to move on to brutal death, I'm going to name 7 H.Target with a yantra creating. This is slamming brutal death with very tricky musical moves that are going to make your head spin for sure. This gives a nice transition point to the brutal death genre, starting with Darkall Slaves and their album Mephitic Redolence of the Decomposed. Well, sure, this album was released at the very end of 2022, that's why I feel that it has to be included into the list for this year. It is absolutely brutal, fast music, relentless and merciless in its onslaught, very satisfying. Then goes the Spanish Infertile Surrogacy with their Anthropocide, very glum and serious slamming brutal death metal. It is not joking around. Who are joking around are the next 2 bands, Colpocleisis with their elegant degradation, including some very cool slams and gore grind elements, and Clit Commander with their Obey the Clit, utilizing pretty much similar formula. Amazing material, amazing musicianship, amazing sound. Going over to old school death, I was very impressed by the Finnish underground band Guts with their album Decay. Very cool stuff for those who love Bolt Thrower, 6 Feet Under and this kind of groovy death metal. And of course, I have to mention the melodic death album of the first quarter of this year, which is Insomnium Anno 1696. Very inspiring, profound music. It is going to touch you unless your heart is a stone. There was at least one very nice thrash metal album that impressed me, and that is Sublind from Luxembourg with their album The Senosillicophobic Sessions. Very aggressive and very impressive fast music. Speaking of fast music, let's touch up on Grindcore. Here I must name FesterDecay with their absolutely great Reality Rotten to the Core Carcass Worship album and Rotten Sound Apocalypse that dropped yesterday. This is a fast, take no prisoners bulldozer machine of grindcore. You could ask, where are the Obituary and Enslaved albums? They're totally great, but they didn't make me shit my pants, so I'm not gonna say that they are the coolest albums of the first quarter of this year. What is the very coolest album of the first quarter of this year is the album with an unpronounceable name by the band Lapidation of Emnacious Eminent Laceration. This is absolutely crushing stuff with top-notch composition and production. Once you hear it, you will definitely love it. I'll leave a link in the description below. So, that was my list of the albums that attracted my attention in the first quarter of this year. Like, subscribe, listen to them all. Write down in the comments what are your favorites so far, and support the underground.